So week 3 is here now in the fantasy basketball season. But here's a few centers I would sell off and trade this week. The first guy's Miles Turner and the Indiana Pacers. Turner, he's off to a starting tear beginning of the season here, and his best points have been the block and the shots. For him, he's already on the season average 3.5 blocks a game, that is, for Turner, with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal and a half a game as well. I don't think Turner's going to keep up those stats in the steal and block position. And his field goal percentage, too, at 49%. I don't know if he'll stay that high. Last season, he shot 45, and right now, Turner, he's playing lights out, no doubt about it. He was a player you probably drafted in the 7th or 8th round of your fantasy leagues, but right now, this is the time to sell him high because I think you could get good value for him because he's not going to sustain the 3.5 blocks a game and 1.6 steals, and his points are down 4 points a game almost from last season, is Turner. And now with Oladipo back this season, he's going to eat into that playing time and Sabonis being the main scorer over there. So Turner, he's a solid ball player, no doubt about it, but his value's high with he's giving you block shots and steals, and I would take advantage of it and try to get a good trade package for him. The second center I would sell high and sell this week is Mitchell Robinson of the New York Knicks. Robinson, he's been playing pretty decent, but where he got drafted in fantasy leagues, 4th or 5th round in most, he's not putting up those extraordinary numbers. The last few games for him, December 31st versus Toronto, only 4.7 boards, 2 steals. Then versus Indiana, January 2nd, he had a good game, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 80% from the field. A lot of putbacks and layups for him. And then last night in a great victory over the Hawks, 8.7 boards, 4 steals, 2 blocks on 57% from the field. So Robinson, there's going to be nights where he's not going to score the basketball much. This season so far, he's only got 1 double-digit rebound game, and he's getting about 1.5 to 2 blocks a game, which he's going to keep up. But right now, Robinson, I think you could trade him. You could get a decent scoring guard or something for him at the position, because Robinson, he was drafted high in most leagues, like I said, and he's not putting up that crazy amount of stats like you would think. On the season, he's averaging 8.6 points, 7.7 rebounding, 1.7 blocks, and 1.4 steals, and 60% from the field. Those are good splits and numbers, but I don't think they're great enough to have him as one of your main guys on your team, and I think you could trade him and get someone better than him at the spot. The next guy is Mason Plumley. I would sell high this week of the Detroit Pistons. Plumley, he's been playing great this season with his new team, and he needed opportunity maybe to play 25, 30 minutes a game like he has this season. And so far, he's averaging 8 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.4 steals a game, and he's shooting 56% from the field. So Plumley, I think the rebounds are going to drop a little. The assists, I think they'll finish the season at 3, and I don't think his steals will stay at 1.5 a game. So Plumley, he's playing lights out. He's putting up a double-double pretty much every night so far this season. But I don't think he's going to be that great of a fantasy player where he's going to keep putting up the big games. I think you sell him high now because I think he's going to drop off the more games Blake Griffin plays, because Griffin, he's missed a bunch of games this season, and that's why Plumlee's numbers have gone up as well, in my opinion. So I would sell him off and try to get something good for him. And the next guy is Thomas Bryant of the Washington Wizards. Bryant, he's been playing lights out as well like Plumlee with huge games. Bryant, he's into form like he was 2 seasons ago. The last 3 games, 28 points, 3 rebounds versus the Bulls on the 31st. And he shot 90% from the field. Then versus Minnesota on New Year's Day, 18 points, 7 boards, and he shot 100% from the field. And then the last game versus Brooklyn, and a great game it was, January 3rd, 75% from the field, 21 points, 14 boards, and he added a 3. So Thomas Bryant, he's hitting a lot of shots. He's making all of them, it seems like, shooting 90, 100%, and 75 in his last 3 games, and he's not going to sustain that. And right now, Bryant, his value is probably going to be the highest it is all season, and he's a center I would go out there and try as an add-on trade, or just a guy you trade 1 for 1 for a struggling star who will get it going as the season goes on. So Bryant, his value's high, and I would sell him. And the last center I would try to sell this week's Jusuf Nurkic, the Portland Trailblazers. Nurkic's numbers, they just haven't been good so far this season for the most part. Ennis Kanter, he's outplaying them over there in Portland, and who knows? I doubt it happens, but Kanter, he could be the starter in the next few weeks here. And Nurkic on the season, his averages aren't great at all. 9.7 rebounds, 3 assists. He's not giving you a 3, and he's only shooting 46% from the field. And in the last week, those averages even dropped more. 6.6 rebounds, 2 assists with a block a game. So right now, Nurkic, he's not doing much. Where you drafted him especially, he went 4th or 5th round in most fantasy drafts. And I would try to sell him or attach him to another player and try to get a superstar on my roster. But like I said, Ennis Kanter, he's the more productive center right now over there in Portland. And Nurkic, I don't know if his numbers are going to go up this season. Maybe he's not 100% recovered for the injury or what, but I would try to sell him. So that's a few centers I would try to sell here, week 3 of the fantasy basketball season.